We talk again once you finish the game. When you have
No, I
more
got shit to do.
time. The Batmobile.
Always
save
man.
Gotham
Let me
City.
introduce the show. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Gamers for Life podcast.
And we're talking about how Suicide Squad is still a shitty game after launch.
Oh,
Right?
no, we were talking about how bad you are driving an Arkham Knight.
Shut the fuck up, both of y'all. Let me introduce the goddamn show. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Gamers for Life podcast for each and every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, discussing all things games. I'm one of your hosts, Terrell. With me is my fishtailing co-host, Arthur Thomas. How you doing, man?
Don't
Doing
let him
good.
behind
Just
the
wish-
wheel.
I just wish Bruce Wayne could invent four-wheel drive.
Dog, he did, bro. It just
Not
he
in
wasn't
that fucking
expecting
game.
Robin to drive it.
Not in that
For
fucking game.
For those
That
of
shit's
you who are
one
who are confused, we've been talking about Arkham Asylum, which he has been Arthur's been
Knight.
streaming. Arkham Knight, excuse me. He has been streaming on the Gamers for Life channel on
game.
YouTube, which you should definitely subscribe to. Talking about his experiences driving the Batmobile in the game. But before we continue on with that, we do have Church in the building as well. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, brother. Thanks for asking. How's life with you?
It's not bad. It's Friday, so I'm happy about that. I was able to play my gig last week.
Oh yeah, I saw the pictures. Good shit.
Thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, so that was nice because it rained right after. Like the next day, it rained. So I'm like, oh, at least I was able to get
Oh
the show
yeah,
in.
we're getting snow. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, just made me think like
Yeah.
weather. Oh yeah, we're getting some too.
Got some snow coming in. Very
Yep,
cool.
yep. Can't wait. I'll say I like the shirt too. By the way.
Oh, thanks. You know, gotta rep the Hendrix. So, yeah. So an interesting show here this week. We've had a couple announcements here and there trickling around. I have three main points to discuss today. We can have some stuff to talk about around them. But before we get into any of that, like I mentioned before, if you are watching this and you enjoy this banter and some of our other videos that we have on the channel, which is quite a few, almost 200, be sure to subscribe on the YouTube channel. You know how you've heard this a million times, but it really does help. We want to grow the channel, right? So click the subscribe, like the video so it goes around the internet. Leave a comment if you have a thought on what we've been discussing here on the show. We will interact with you in the comment section. That is something that I will do. Obviously, as mentioned before, Arthur does the stream for a lot of the games on the channel. As mentioned already, Arkham Asylum, or Arkham Knight, god damn it, with the Batmobile and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
kicking ass and taking names as Bruce Wayne, know what I'm saying? And here at the
Spoiler. Batman's Bruce Wayne. Sorry, guys.
yeah, spoiler, Batman's Bruce Wayne. And everything else, Gamers for Life, you can go to Linktree, linktree.com/gamers4life. And here at the Gamers for Life podcast, we read the news while you can watch or listen to what you choose by clicking on the links of the time code within the description of the episode, or you can just hang out with us here at the Gamers for Life podcast. Do we want to talk about the fantasy card just a little bit? There's been a couple of updates that kind of revolve
there's been
around
updates.
it. Quite a bit. So I mean,
Does Church have positive points again?
I think I made it. I think I crossed the threshold from 0.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah, the
He's out of the-
threshold is 0.
he's
Let's
out of
fucking
the
go.
he's out of the negative, but even more so of an update. Arthur, one of his the big game that I forgot even had a release date so quickly, and I'm talking about Final Fantasy Rebirth, is getting
Sorry.
cum guzzling high reviews from all of its combatants. It is averaging a 93 on OpenCritic, which is insane.
So glad I picked that game. I totally forgot.
I'm so upset that you picked that game because I'm like, fuck. So you're going to be getting a good amount of goddamn points here coming in really soon.
Hell yeah.
The game's looking really nice, and then of course it's one of those things where I'm like, damn, is this the year that I should buy a PlayStation 5? Jim Ryan is out. He's not doing shit really, and a bunch of other stuff has been announced. Kojima
Helldivers is out. That looks so fun.
Helldivers 2 is out, as we've mentioned before.
Space
Xbox
democracy.
is losing exclusivity, like, you know.
Yeah, they're giving away games. We do need to talk about that too. Well, at least your 4 games, because on the show, on the last episode, we gave our 4 games that Xbox should give away. I don't know if you concocted that list. I don't know if it was all live service games or
Oh yeah,
Welcome back to
I could run through them if you want to. No problem. Yeah.
Okay, right on, right on. I guess another thing too is that it was announced. So obviously this hasn't reflected the fantasy card as of yet, but Elden Ring, the DLC that we've been waiting for, did get announced. Shadow of Erdtree, and of course I know you dumped hours upon hours into this church, so I kind of wanted you to lead this here. Just kind of give me your thoughts on what you saw and just kind of your excitement around it.
pretty much let Drell know how many points he should expect in this card.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you should expect 10 across the board. You know,
Oh,
this
thank
is
God.
easy to get. It should be easy. Like
I need
if
it. I need it.
if there's any doubt. Yeah, dude, the announcement it's crazy. I'm actually having a hard time fathoming how I'm gonna spend my time in the summer because I have Final Fantasy 14, the new expansion coming out. So I'm like trying to pick the time, and this DLC is gonna take 100 hours easily, probably. I'm excited. I'm very big into the lore. I frequent YouTube lore channels, so there's a lot of character narration story bits in terms of uh, Milikai, which is the brother of Melania, that seems to be centered around the theme of this DLC. Now, he was a big portion of the game in terms of like the harder zone, quote unquote, off the beaten path, and now we finally get to see him and his vision of the world. So, it looks scary. It looks massive, bro. I don't know if you guys seen it. I might have got the price wrong, but it is a $50 DLC. $50.
Really?
Yeah. And there's a deluxe version of the DLC. I've never seen a deluxe version of a DLC in my entire life, bro. And so this is a macro transaction if I've ever seen it in my life.
Church is like swipe, swipe.
Yeah, swipe, dude. Collector's edition. Like I'm gonna go for it. And
Paid
the
in
collector's
full.
edition. Yeah. Is it worth it? Of course, bro. I think it's going to be surprisingly a huge game. Similar to my theory is like Tears of the Kingdom. Well, spoilers if you guys haven't played that game. There is like the section of that game where you go underground, and it's the entire map of Breath of the Wild. I think this is going to be equivalent to a sequel to Elden Ring. I think it's going to be that massive. You know, I'm hyping it up. I think the money, if they're asking for $50 up front, I think you're going to get your money's worth because I think it's just going to be a sequel to the game that you love. It ain't going to be no 8 to 10 hours. You're going to be there fighting mini bosses. And it's exciting, bro. We've been waiting for this for years at this point. So, I mean, maybe 2.5 years, but who's counting? Just me. But
Because I hear it's supposed to be potentially up to 40 hours as far as the DLC.
Bro,
Pretty
yeah.
wild.
That's insane. So how do you guys feel about that price tag? Just a $50 DLC and a deluxe edition to the DLC. Like, how do you guys feel about that?
That's too expensive. 40 hours, though, I will say is still a good length of a DLC. I mean, that DLC is already like what? How many times more than the entire Call of Duty campaign? A part of me is like old man screaming at clouds as always because I'm like, that's bad, but fuck, that's gonna be the norm. Like I feel like the soon experience to be like $150 for like a true experience.
So what's bad about the DLC? If it's the same length as a full featured game, what are you concerned about?
That's where I'm torn. Well, because first off, here's a question: what is it 40 hours or is it like full completion, platinum trophy, 100 hours?
So
the reason I say that because your guys' numbers were like more than double off each other.
I mean, I'm being hyperbolic when it comes
Okay.
to 100 hours because you can easily sink 100 hours into Elden Ring, if not more.
And that's sorry that cut you off my own question, but that's why because I know like Elden Ring's it's the replayability that adds to it, but that's why I wasn't sure. So Drell's like, okay, 40 hours, but absolutely Elden Ring has the amazing replayability that worthies it. So again, that's why I'm mixed. At face value, it's like $50 for like a DLC is like a price is like a high asking price, but I'm like, okay, it's a DLC for Elden Ring, which is a game that's highly praised, so worth the value, and you get a lot of gameplay from it. So that's why I'm like mixed because again, I think this $50 is okay, But I wouldn't be surprised if, like, within a year or maybe with a year-ish, we start seeing other DLCs being priced at the same, but whereas those other DLCs might not be worth that $50 value.
You're looking at PlayStation. I hear you.
I'm looking at blockbuster games.
I think it's a special circumstance, right? I mean, I'm kind of okay with the price of it. Reason being is because how old is Elden Ring now? Is it 2 years old?
About 2.5, yeah, 2.
And then a new game's coming out, and then a new DLC coming out, and if it's supposed to be as long as I've heard it is for $40, it's almost like a sequel in a sense, you know, or just more, you know, obviously more content. And I don't think there's really anything wrong with it because of the timing. I think if it was like 6 months from the original game, they're asking for $50, like, that's kind of crazy, you know. But I mean, I almost think of it almost as like the WoW expansions, right? You know, each expansion, $50-$60, right? Every so often. And it's, you know, and this, as far as the quality of Elden Ring, you know, and how much that game sold, and just it cleaning up during the awards and whatnot, I think it's warranted. I think it's warranted. It would be interesting though, Arthur, to see what the trend would be in the future for other publishers, other developers, to see if they can pull something off to that particular, you know, degree. But I do think because of the timing, I think it'll be fine. I don't think people will be freaking out about it too much. Because it's been 2 years. I mean, people have been waiting for more content from Elden Ring. So it's an interesting game they're playing, you know, pardon the pun. But I think this is going to be a good one. I think it's going to be reviewed well. I don't really hear anybody really fussing about it. But we'll see.
Just a quick follow-up. Is this a trend that you guys want to see further when it comes to first party single player experiences? Will they just dump like a $40 DLC but has as much value as the original game in terms of hours or maybe even content? Would that be something you guys would want to purchase, or would you just want a sequel at that point for the games you love?
Real quick, 40 or 50? Because someone said 50 earlier. Sorry.
I heard 40. That was from Kind of Funny, so who knows what accuracy that is. I heard 40, but I mean, if it's more than that, that just tests more to the situation, right? That's a good question you asked, Church. I think this is where the rubber meets the road for a lot of people, right? Because Game Pass has spoiled all of us. Right? Game Pass has spoiled all of us. And of course, you know,
Arkham Knight on Game Pass.
Right, exactly. And then, you know, to Arthur's point, as he's mentioned to me before, you know, a lot of times when games go away at Game Pass, it definitely entices you to buy the DLC, especially if it's at a discounted price. So that's also a huge, you know, kind of like spoiling as well. You know, getting the discounted version of the DLC enter the game. But now we have games like this, as far as for IPs, first party IPs, that are charging these DLCs at a high cost. But I'm torn because I'm always from a quality perspective first. If we're getting high quality, high value, we're not, you know, it's not some cookie cutter bullshit, you know, it's like, no, this is like full on content. There's story content. There's really dope missions. There's new weapon upgrades. There's a lot of time and effort put into it. It might be warranted, but I think having it too, right, is because that's what we've come from before Game Pass, right? We're used to spending that money from like the Fallout 4 DLCs, and obviously they weren't $50, but I mean, we bought all the expansions, you know, when they came out. We're like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, absolutely. You know, so for me, it really depends. Not every game can get away with it. Not every game can get like, for example, if Starfield came out with a new thing 2 years from now from its release and charged $50, I gotta see what they're doing right with the standalone, because right now no one's playing Starfield like they were, right? It was fun while it lasted, but the planets are empty, and I think they're still having the fucking issue that I bitched about the last episode, as far as like setting the mission objective, and it's just a bunch of bubbles. I'm like, why the fuck, so
Where's your mission objective? I don't know. You fucking figure it
yeah.
out.
Yeah, I'm just
Tell
like
me, Andrea.
yeah, like where's this the normal map? It's like you have the galaxy map. Where's the normal map of where I fucking am? Anyway,
Well, you don't like pressing B 6 times to get out of the fucking menu? No way.
right? Exactly. But what are your thoughts on this, Arthur? This is an interesting question.
Oh, you're doing too pessimistic. You're like, I'm not sure if some games will warranted. Most fucking DLC warranted. Name like 3 good AAA games in the fucking like 2 years. Like everything's been a letdown or a flop or bad. Like again, I think this will financially be the norm, but most of it won't truly like most of it truly won't warrant it. From Software is like one of the few, true good company that they're doing consistency where, I don't, we're in the age of quadruple A games and $40 DLC. It's a new age to be, in that where apparently there's a memo. I guess I didn't realize we entered the quadruple A game each, but here we are. So I feel like most cases it won't warrant it, but I think sooner than not, it's going to be the industry norm with this price point. I mean, it's like now a game just can't, not have the $90, $100 version to play a game like 4 days early. So I feel like, whereas that's the norm, I feel like DLCs being this price point wise will probably be the norm very soon too. Will all of them be 40 hours of gameplay? Will all of them have legitimate upgrades? Will all of them have new mechanics? No, but like I said, Joel, you and I called it early the norm of microtransactions, all this other stuff. This isn't far off.
But I think to Church's point, as far as the second part of the question, like if this was a trend and it was IP games like first party IPs that we were really interested in, would you move forward to make the purchase? Because we're all Game Pass huge fans, right? It's like we don't really want to spend anything beyond $16 these days.
Right. For example, Hogwarts Legacy has DLC coming, bro. Like, are you copping it?
Not at day one.
Okay.
Not let the public figure out that shit first.
Why not? Okay, but what if it's reviewed well, right? It just is reviewed well. Is this day one or is it just the price tag?
Rarely would I see myself doing that, only because to a point, Church, we talk about it in separate ways, is in terms of personal like game time. Like if I like one game that's coming on this date and then this game's DLC is coming on that date, I'm like, okay, I can't buy both. But that's not necessarily a factor for a lot of people, but that's a factor for me. So that's, again, then the personal reason why I can't guarantee a cop X, Y, and Z all at launch date one. But let's say it wasn't. Let's say there's a $40 DLC for this other game coming out. It's a dead zone. Nothing else is buying it. Maybe. And even then, I don't see myself doing it day one. Now, my ask just that if it's like cooperative or something like that, like if like like Helldivers or something just quietly or loudly drops an Xbox and that shit's like $70, I'm like, yo, hop the fuck on. We need to introduce some bucks to some space democracy. But rarely, I can see myself doing that, but not like every single time that shit happens.
Okay. Yeah, and I hear you, Arthur. Well, I just want to give my closing thoughts. I mean, I don't think it's a mystery to you, too. I mean, I would spend the money. Just because, and I'll tell you why. I think games graphically have gone to a point where the sequel is not going to impress me visually anymore. Before, I would want a sequel where they go back, do some graphic updates, but I just think where we at in the industry, as I understand it, what I've been experiencing, like PS3 games look as good as PS4 games sometimes. Like the updates would be minimum. So I'd rather the developer teams take a game like I love, like a God of War, Spider-Man 2, Tears of the Kingdom, just to name a few. You reuse those assets, right? That's always been developed, and have a shorter development time and give me another $40 40-hour experience, whatever the price tag may be, quicker than another 5-year turnaround. Just because, like, hey, I love this game. I want to get back to this game as quick as possible, as opposed to waiting 5 years now. Well, in terms of like, Rocksteady or a Rockstar waiting 10 years to get something new. And that's kind of, well, I think I want to support this Elden Ring because I kind of want to get it sooner. Like, I want to be back in this world, as soon as possible. And that's just my philosophy now. Well, vote with your wallet. I think a lot of people abstain from spending money in games, like especially games or services. But what are people doing to support the practices they want to see from games, right? If you don't want games or services, like, yeah, don't spend your money there. But are you buying these regular games that don't have microtransactions? Are you supporting these developers? I mean, it's easy to buy the game of the year contender game, right? But it's the double A's and the sevens out of tens that you got to support to keep that, those type of games in production. It's just my thoughts. So
That's an interesting point you make. I mean, I just think on the other side of the spectrum, it's like, I'll support it if I find value in it. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I think that's the other side of the gaming industry, is that, maybe not everybody will see the value, to support, right? It has to be a very special connection between the gamer and the developer, or the gamer and the game itself.
do you think that, sorry, like Dro, that is it okay to have that perspective when gamers don't see the value and therefore they don't pay for it, but you're competing with, the money's getting spent in the industry, right? It's all in the same, pond, right? It's like people are spending money over here in games and service because they see the value, but nobody's spending money over here, right? So the game developers are going to put the resources and money towards, games and services as opposed to the, standalone experiences.
I think it's a multifaceted scenario you bring up. I mean, from the economic standpoint, it's a capitalist society. Not everyone has the ability to support who they want, even if they had to, especially in today's standards. And then the other side of the spectrum is that you have Game Pass, which is kind of like the Spotify of games. We're now on a spoiled notion where we have access to high quality games and we can just pay a flat line subscription service. Whose fault is that? And for those people that, maybe they don't want to flush out and buy the DLC, when a Game Pass game leaves, it's, I mean, again, the value has to be there. And then we did see numbers though, where 50% of people that had Game Pass, they bought the DLC, so I think it's one of those things where it just has to be, to me, it's a very special particular circumstance, where people will find that value to do so. It's almost it's kind of slightly parallel to, the artist, as far as like trying to release their music and to buy the album on vinyl or something via Bandcamp versus going to just streaming and they get 1,000%, you know what I mean? Which means nothing. So, but you have this convenient service that I get paid $10 and listen to everything I want, so it's like, whose fault is it at the end of the day, and who finds value in what, and what dictates that, so it's interesting. I just think, as far as back to the gaming notion of what you mentioned, I think there are games that there's just, it's harder to be, it's obviously a highly competitive space. So there are certain games that they have that originality, or just that, they just have it. They just have that thing where it's like, I want to invest in this. Last of Us is one of those, it's like, regardless of how people feel about Last of Us Part 2, I mean, statistically, I would argue that there's more people that liked Last of Us Part 2 than the people that didn't. I mean, just based off of the sales, based off the awards, like even based off people that actually bought the remastered editions. There's a lot of people in the comments and forums say, yeah, this is great. You know what I mean? And obviously there's the loud few that say, fuck that. This is bullshit. But these are the same people.
I'm never going to use a golf club again.
But these are the same people that find that value that you talk about, right? So in Last of Us, it's just one of those experiences that you don't get from many other games, and from a narrative perspective. So it's a highly competitive market, so it forces developers to work that much harder to deliver something that is going to give the Elden Rings to buy that DLC for $50. So that's kind of my take.
Yeah. I'm kind of inane in the subject because I'm just more. I'm like Drill knows, but I'm more of niche when it comes to. I do not reflect the majority. The common customer, like the people that want to pay $70 for like every single game that comes out. I'm like, you do you, boo. I am not doing that shit. Like, sorry. There's like 1,001 games on Game Pass I can play, or B, I don't have time for that, or C, I don't feel like spending all the money on that. Like, three games, so it's over $200. Like, okay.
And then you have like the other situation, right? Where like Arthur again, he said like, hey, like no, I wouldn't do that. But then sometimes there's certain games where like, oh, maybe I should do it. I'll pre-order Diablo 4. Like, God damn it!
Yeah, we all make mistakes.
I fucking hate this. No, but I'm just saying, like that. That's another populace that like did that, and they're like, fuck, like, you know what I mean? So, and not everyone is forgiving to do it for the next thing. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of how I felt as far as like fucking Anthem and and all that shit. As far as like, yo, like I like this is the fastest $60. That means nothing now. You know what I mean? Like just because of that. So it's like some people get burned. So it's more.
We got burned in like fucking a pay period. That shit was crazy. We didn't even get paid twice before that game was fucking dead, dude.
I'm like, holy shit. But anyway,
I don't know. I can't speak to like value, but I'm just hoping that the one thing church spoke to was like kind of like the funding or the focus of the developers or publishers. I would say more that they provide the funding, as I'm hoping they follow more of like the trend of what's fun and what's the numbers that support the fun versus they throw money to probably make it happen. Like last year, was the most selling game of all last year, Hogwarts Legacy. And then Lethal Company was up there, Baldur's Gate 3, Power World on Game Pass. But if you don't buy Power World, even if you don't play,
Tears of the Kingdom, I'm just saying.
Yeah. Again,
it was 1 million short behind Hogwarts Legacy, and it was only available on Switch as opposed to Hogwarts Legacy being available on multiple platforms, bro.
Whose fault is that, Church?
That's still a feat. No, I'll give that.
Like, does exclusivity help anybody?
Right.
Prime example.
Right. Yeah,
and that's absolutely Zelda should get its dues, because again, 1 million shy of a game that was cross console, cross platform, and again that wasn't. But again, look at the games that have been not popular in terms of like reviews or critics or ratings, but popular in terms of player counts behind them. Hogwarts Legacy, Zelda, Lethal Company, Baldur's Gate 3, Power World. Power World's it's on Game Pass. Power World's a $30 game. So kind of, not shouting at clouds, but like hoping the clouds. I'm hoping that if you look at the numbers of what players have been playing the past, year or so, it's like, I hope we get away from this other, just throw money in it, make it a thing. And like, focus on, something I was intending to do your sequel thing, Church, focus on the gameplay loop, not necessarily making the gameplay loop look prettier.
Agree. Gameplay over graphics is that's just me and how I approach games a lot. So
yeah, this man, this is a man, calling from the Switch, which is definitely not known for its power. So again, do it. I couldn't stick that landing. I was gonna say another iPad joke, but it wasn't warranted because I'm like, no, Zelda does look good on that game. They did it,
bro. They got games.
No, they got games. Not everything has to be like highly 4K hyper real, like you said. When you're real quick, when you're talking about how sequels need to focus more on what made them popular, not necessarily make them look better. This isn't one for one, but I immediately thought of the Lord of the Rings, Shadows of War. That first game, that second game looked arguably the same, but all the new things they added in Shadow of Shadow of War, God, that gameplay loop, dude, I never, ever got tired of killing every single fucking orc I saw. So again, to sequels, to tie back to your sequel thing, to like that notion, focus on improving the gameplay loop, not making it look better. Exactly.
Right on. Speaking of gameplay, in games that are converted to movies, I was curious about the impressions of your thoughts of the Borderlands
trailer.
We finally got it. We were very skeptical to see what the hell's going on with it. Originally, Ed Boon was going to direct it. He's no longer the director of the film. Jack Black is
Wait, Ed
Claptrap.
Boon, Mortal Kombat guy?
Or not Ed Boon, I'm sorry. The guy that directed Hostel.
Oh, he's not behind it no more?
He's not behind it anymore.
Oh,
director.
fuck.
I mean, it's
Eli Roth or
PG-13,
something like
right?
that.
So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't fuck with PG-13. He wants that gore.
He wants that gore. What are you guys' thoughts? Who wants to go first?
I'll start. I was okay with it. I mean, I kind of like that it's so if you kind of look at it, it's not. I think it's more of it's Borderlands 2-ish, sort of. Because like who's the sniper guy? Mordecai, something like that. I didn't play the sniper guy, so don't call me. It looks fun. I'll just like that. Yeah. Face value is absolutely PG-13. Borderlands is not super gore. They're not. They might show some gore, but they're going to be shooting guys' heads off and hacking people off every second. Or the games are kind of cartoony gory. I liked it. I didn't see a horrible. There was no thong song. It's weird because I feel like the tone was sort of similar to the tone of this trailer was semi sort of similar to the tone of the Twisted Metal trailer, but yet I like this, not that. I think Twisted Metal is more of a dark source than this. I feel like Twisted Metal to me was more of a monkey's paw story than a thong song commercial. I liked it. It looked fun. There was like a good balance of quip and quirk, but not over the fucking top. I did like one of the top comments I showed you guys that like it sounds like what's his name? Kevin Hart is doing his rock impression for every single line. Hey, what's up there? Just like deep voice, like, oh, we gotta do this, guys. Like, Kevin Hart, you don't sound like that. We've fucking seen you. You don't sound like that. So I don't know. I'm hopeful. Will I see in theaters? No, but that's not a good judge. I don't see shit in theaters. So will I rent it when it comes on digital? Yeah, probably.
What do you think, Church?
Yeah, so this is hot garbage shit, bro.
Yes, opposing opinions. Let's go.
It does not look good, bro. I think Kevin Hart looks like the weakest, which I thought he would be the strongest. But
you thought Kevin Hart would be the strongest? Have you seen his movies? Sorry, bro. You see one Kevin Hart movie, you've seen them all. Just saying.
I mean, I'm not saying. Yeah, I feel the same way about other actors too, like Samuel L. Jackson sometimes too, But like, I think Kevin Hart could be. I think he's funny, but you know what you're getting, right? I don't think he's going to outshine Jack Black. There's very few people that can do what Jack Black does, right? And I feel the same way about Jim Carrey. There's nobody close to Jim Carrey. But going back to Borderlands, Kevin Hart doesn't seem funny. I'm not happy with the casting. The violence looks okay. I look at this film and I realize, you know what? If Sony just used Into the Spider-Verse type of graphics, we would have got a better Borderlands movie with different voice acting. So if they just went animated as opposed to live action, I think we would have been in a better place than what we're getting right now. I don't think the movie's gonna be good, bro. I think it's very colorful. Same thing they do for games and services, make it shiny and brighty, to draw on the young crowd, and they're gonna have like noises to get it attractive. It does not look good. And I don't know, man. I'm not excited for it. I feel like Uncharted looked like the better movie. I watched Uncharted. It's an okay film, but I don't expect. I mean, Arthur, do you think this movie is gonna be great?
I think it's gonna be okay. Like, it's Borderlands. Like, I'm not coming to like, guys, so you seen Schindler's List? I got a movie for you. Like, it's just gonna be like, okay. Like, I was expecting a B. So if I get like a C plus, B minus, I'm not like, oh, I was wrong. And in terms of like some of the colors and noises, yeah, I mean, that's what Borderlands to a point is.
I feel like Guy Ritchie should have done Borderlands, bro. I feel like, it would have been better. You have the King Arthur movie, Snatch. I think it just fits the Borderlands aesthetic better in terms of a fast-paced type of film. I feel like, Smoking Aces.
Smoking Aces. I was thinking that. I was thinking that.
It would have been better, but I don't think this film is bringing that. And I guess, Arthur, I want video game movies to be great. To this day, I think Warcraft is underrated as a video game movie. I think it's fucking top tier, right up there with The Last of Us TV show. But like Borderlands, I don't think it's converting anybody, bro. Like,
oh no, like, dude,
and that's the problem, right?
Oh no, I've become complacent in my Stockholm syndrome of a game movie. It's not gonna be good. Like, I don't know. Sorry, like, if you guys were expecting, like, I can't wait for this to be good. Like, why are you setting yourself up for failure? Like, don't do that.
No,
like,
no.
I love
Bell,
Borderlands.
we
Like,
gotta
Joel
get
knows.
you out of the castle. It's okay.
Like, Joel knows.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Borderlands 2 to me is very near dear to my heart and other things.
And they
So,
trashing it, bro.
like, what? But I knew they were. But here's the thing: I knew they were. Like the
Right.
second, like, okay, Church. Here's one of why I immediately knew Borderlands. This movie's going to be bad. Do you remember that one half fake last E3 where Randy Pitchford was like, "Let me just shove a camera in everyone's face." I'm like, cool. This movie's going to be bad. I therefore have no hope. So
I do remember that. Yeah.
So that's why, like, again, so that's why I'm like kind of pessimistic. I'm like, it's not going to do well, and I don't care because I expected that. It sucks that like an IP I love is going to do shit in the box office. Really random. You said Smoking Aces. Thought that Common would have been a way better casting for Roland than Kevin Hart. Just I don't know why that popped in my head, by the way.
Yeah.
But I will say in terms of the color and noise, to a point that kind of is the game. Like really, like Joe and I were there in working retail with Borderlands 2, and like some of like the actual like advertising was like, "Here comes Borderlands, dubstep," and that was like the whole commercial. Like that was the entire verbatim like commercial for Borderlands 2.
Very,
the commercial
that was
ended.
A very obnoxious time where he had GameStop.
Every time, just do you like dubstep? Borderlands 2 coming out February, blah. So that's why the colors and noises to me weren't distracting. So I'm like, yeah, that's on brand. I will say I do like the little things that did tie in the game. Like, man, Moxie was there. The guns that are there, the actual guns, Marcus, his bus, the vending machines. So I like that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I just don't know.
No, cook, bro. Cook. You're cooking.
Yeah,
do it.
I just don't know if it's gonna come together, bro. Like
it won't.
It won't.
Sorry,
and
I'll have that for you. Well, I'm sorry. Like,
want them to make, bro. But this is Sony's initiative, right? They want to make more video games, and if this is the quality they putting out, especially after The Last of Us, right? Well, he had the creator of the game behind it. I think actually the creator of the game
that was
too. Yeah,
I'm creating that note more to HBO. Sorry, I put a lot more towards HBO than Sony for the Uncharted.
Okay, so compare it to Uncharted. Yeah, comparing it to Uncharted, it's like, it's in the same category. I just want it to be better. I want it to succeed. And I don't know, bro. It's not going. I think Jack Black is going to save it. That robot is going to be the key to this entire film, because you put Jack Black in anything, it's going to work a little bit. He's going to bring something, but it does not look good, bro.
So I have this another shocker. That's actually something I kind of disagree with. I'm not.
Yeah, I kind of disagree too. I was the original
voice actor.
That's
Claptrap.
I feel like something's missing. I don't know. I feel like he's trying to save a burning house. Like, I don't know.
I don't disagree. If they had the original actor, that would have been great. Like, right? That would be the preference. But I'm not going to discount Jack Black and what he can do. Are we tripping like Jack Black? Like, we just saw him at Bowser, right?
He'll be great, but I just think when it comes to the character of Claptrap, like, I don't know. I don't think he's the right fit. Jack Black's amazing. Like I don't even want to go into a rant of how great I think Jack Black is. He's obviously amazing, but I don't think he was the right fit for Claptrap. You know what I mean? I'm completely healthy in saying that.
Voice actor, who would you want? Who you think?
Shit, Kevin Hart would have been a better baby. He has a high voice.
You might be, yeah, right?
Girl, you're right, dude. Kevin Hart has a better high voice than a low voice. I'll just say that. Kevin Hart sounds more like Kevin Hart talking like this. Talking like this. Get down, guy. Like, again, it sounds like like to a point. We've seen Kevin Hart's bits. It sounds like he's doing a bit. It sounds like he's doing his uncle.
But that bit is hilarious.
Like he's his uncle. His whole movie.
He's his uncle is hilarious.
I'm just saying, we saw that bit. Like, say with your chest. Like, he's doing his uncle. It's not this whole movie,
bro. But say it with your chest is hilarious, bro.
I guess
my impression of uncle, but a whole movie of it. Oh, I don't know, man.
My take on this is I agree with both of you guys. I kind of have some mixed feelings here. So I do think that they could have I think they're kind of mailing it in. Obviously, there is a lot of issues behind the scenes as far as for like the production or whatnot. It seems like they're just trying to put a stamp on it and move it along. I think it can be a little more sophisticated than what they're giving it. To Church's point, because I do think of like Lucky Number 11 or Smoking Aces, like really crazy stylistic, but like really good too. Takes itself quasi seriously within its crazy comedic world or whatever it is. I don't think the casting is horrible. Obviously, Kevin Hart sticks out like a sore thumb. He obviously shouldn't be this character. Like I remember reading one of the articles saying like him playing Roland is like, yeah, he's really going to surprise everybody. He's not surprising anybody. I'm like, whoever wrote that, like, are you fucking kidding me? Like Kevin Hart, like, stop being Roland. Let's call him Roland. Let's call him the actual character. You know what I mean? Like, and yeah, as I mentioned with Claptrap, I think Jack Black could be great. He'll do fine. Like he'll try, but I think as far as to really like to fit it like a glove, like I said, Kevin Hart probably would fit the description more as Claptrap when it comes to the voice. But yeah, man, it's hard because I try to think of this from a bird's eye view too as well, right? When it comes to people who've never played Borderlands, they just want to see a movie, take the kids or whatever, it's going to be a fine, entertaining film. When it comes to us as gamers, we're like, Borderlands deserves more, so much more than this, you know what I mean? It's going to be kicked to the side, and maybe respectfully so. But as far as asking the main question, does this truly do Borderlands as an overall disservice? Like where it's like, this is a fucking shit garbage fucking movie. I don't know if I can say that.
I don't think it's an insult slap in the face. We've seen insult slap in the face movies. Again, there's a lot of details there that show some of the heart or soul of the game is present. That's why I'm just like not mad at it. Like I said, a lot of the guns, the costumes on point, the guns are accurate. A lot of the stuff in the background, the world building looks good. Again, Man Moxie looks good. It's not one of those video game movies that's like a slap in the face. Holy shit! Now this is tainted. Put this way, like Halo. This is like Halo show is way the fuck down there. So again, will this be like a slap in the face like the Halo show was? No. Will this be a fucking knockout of the park? Holy shit! Game movies are back like Sonic was. Also no. It's that middle. It's that middle ground.
The middle ground.
Yeah. And I saw it on my lunch break, so maybe like coming from a social day at work to watching a trailer, I thought some of the jokes were funny. It made me laugh. It made me go, "Oh, that's cringe." Just like because that's the thing too. Because I was worried a lot of this to be like cringe because we've just seen a lot of cringe writing in everything, shows, movies, games, fucking you name it, and it didn't hit a lot of cringe for me watching the trailer, as brief as it was. So again, it's gonna be that middle ground.
How was Tiny Tina? Well, because I know you're a big fan of that character, like I am.
I liked her. Again, yeah. I liked her. It wasn't bad. I'm sure there's people like, well, Tiny Tina this, and I'm just like, here's the thing. The head writer of Borderlands 2, Anthony Birch, wrote Tiny Tina for his sister. All the success and glory of the story that was Borderlands 2 came from Anthony Birch. So the second I found out Anthony Birch was not involved in this movie, I knew I'm not going to get a true Borderlands story. Because everything that was Borderlands 2 was Anthony Birch, the head writer. So that already let me know, okay, it's like it's not one for one, but like the Neil guy, Druckmann, like because Neil Druckmann was so involved with the Last of Us show that helped it have its success. That's like that's like saying, what if the new season gets announced and Neil Druckmann's not a part of it? That's already setting the tone of what the next season may be. So that's what it was for me coming into this, knowing that Anthony Birch was behind this. Like, yes, there's Randy Pitchford. That's more of the Gearbox. He's kind of the face, but he's not necessarily the writer. He's not necessarily the brains behind it. He's not necessarily the brains or behind the show. The writers are. And Anthony Birch was Borderlands 2, which is by far, I think, their best story they had. So again, B- of a movie I'm expecting.
Any lasting thoughts, Church, before we move on?
Yeah,
The
man,
jokes are trash. I was kidding.
yeah, exactly. It's gonna be trash, bro. Like this optimism, life is terrible. Stay negative. Bro, like we should hold these studios more accountable, bro. We should not support this garbage, bro.
Oh man, you just gave me a layup of a segue, bro. Speaking of holding studios accountable, so I wanted to mention the recent article earlier this week, as far as for Sony talking about Bungie and how they should be held more accountable, have some accountability for the development of the timelines of their projects coming out. Obviously, Marathon being one of them. So let me read a little bit of this. Slightly. It says, and quote, Sony president and PlayStation chairman Hiroki Totoki has said Bungie could be better at assuming responsibility for its development timelines. During a Q&A session following Sony's latest financial results briefing, Totoki was asked for an update on Bungie and whether he and any initiatives planned for the studio in the next financial year. Totoki replied that while he was impressed by Bungie's ability as a video game developer, he felt it could make improvements from a business perspective. And quote, he said, I visited the Bungie studios and had meetings with the management, he said, and I saw that employees working at the studios were highly motivated, showing great creativity, as well as an impressive knowledge of live services. He said, and quote, however, I also felt that there was a room for improvement from a business perspective with regarding to areas such as the use of business expenses and assuming accountability for development timelines. I hope to continue the dialogue and come up with some solutions, end quote. And it says, when Totoki originally answered this question last week, a live English translator provided Sony referred to the PlayStation studios in general. It says, I can just stop here. It's pretty much the whole fucking thing. Your guys' thoughts on the response of Totoki on holding Bungie accountable? I will start with you, Church.
Yeah, earlier this week when you dropped it in the chat, I feel like we had different reactions. I think although I don't know if your opinion still stays the same or you're praising this approach. I was kind of looking at it as kind of negative that it means crunch time. I think it's interesting. It's a lot to break down. One, I think Marathon was supposed to come out this year and it got delayed, if I'm reading the tea leaves. Two, is it a good thing that people meet deadlines? I think so. We all have jobs. We all have deadlines. And ultimately, I think this new CEO at PlayStation is taking an interesting approach. Like, he's critical of his team not meeting deadlines when PlayStation is number one, right? Because they take the time with the first party studios. And he's saying you're taking too much time. I wonder if this is going to affect the quality in the future. Because I always thought, Sony wants to adhere to these deadlines, but take your time, cook something up, make PlayStation like the exclusive to have. And if this guy is coming in saying that, hey, we need this out now, like, what does that mean for future titles? I don't know. I don't think anything negative now because Sony announced like, hey, we ain't going to have anything new that's God of War or Spider-Man 2 status. But it is kind of very concerning as a PlayStation owner. Just because what are we going to get? I mean, I've been very critical of Sony from the very beginning of this generation is that I know the sequels we're going to get. And we've gotten them. What's coming after that? And that question has still yet to be answered. And then I don't know. I wonder if Sony's business relationship with Bungie is going to bear any fruit for these 10 live service games they have going on. I think Helldivers 2 is an unexpected success. I think they didn't even market that game properly, right? And now it's taken off. Like, shit, should that only been on PlayStation or should we put that everywhere? I don't know. With Last of Us getting canceled too, maybe that's a slight to that studio at who makes that game? Is it Neversoft or who's the studio for Last of Us?
Naughty Dog.
Naughty Dog,
Naughty
thank you.
Dog, yeah.
maybe that's a slight to Naughty Dog for them not, sticking to the timelines. Like, fuck, how did we get this fall in fractions and this game is fucking terrible? You guys are spending money recklessly. So I think my impressions is like, this is overall his feel about PlayStation Studios as a whole, the insane money that they're spending behind these projects and missing deadlines. I don't think PlayStation's in a good spot, and I think it's going to be. I think the later years of the PS5 is going to be not as good as people think it's going to be. I think there's going to be a lot of missed projects. But Arthur, go ahead. So.
Oh yeah, like I said, I will say at least this was like for the first time it didn't feel like corpo speak. I was like, oh, I get what they're saying. Like for example, they said expensive behind the scenes. So I'm like, oh, layoffs. Oh no. But the reason I had a knee-jerk reaction of like, oh, this is good, only because not one for one, but like when I heard how he was meeting with the 343, sorry, Bungie, some of the time there, sorry, when he was meeting with Bungie, I'm like, man, that's what Phil Spencer should have done with Todd Howard. Stay one, fucking sit him down. That's again, it's not one for, but that's what I thought of. I was like, fuck, I would have loved to see like, hey, we just acquired you. You need to step your shit up. So again, Sony bought these people for $3.5 billion. Bungie was their fucking response purchase following that massive buyout that Xbox had. So again, this is Sony's wheelhouse. It's technically, arguably, not say technically, they did this first party title because Marathon's going to be exclusive at console launch or no?
No, it's not.
No.
Bungie has a deal with PlayStation that their games can be multi-platform. That was part of the condition in terms of acquisition. Yeah.
Oh, cool. It wasn't cool. Good to know because I would mentally checked off Marathon thinking it was going to be a console exclusive again, following the $3.5 billion buyout. But again, there's good or bad. I'm glad that he's addressing delays because fucking someone has to. It's like Drill, you and I were talking like every new game ever should just have the end card coming soon. Just like stop it. Upside downside, Todd Howard was smart doing an interview saying, hey guys, we actually kind of regret telling you the Elder Scrolls 6 was going to announce because all we've did was that 6-second trailer. Like that's all we've fucking done in the game is one, agreed it's going to announce, and then two, showed a really, really, really glorified 4K GIF. That shit was like 30 seconds. So it's like, again, I think is more positive than negative again because I'm over these delays, especially in the world of AAA's. Like Jarrell, because Sony, I want to say because Spider-Man 2, I forget if Spider-Man 2 was delayed or if it had like a later launch than we would have thought when it was announced.
It was delayed.
It was delayed.
It was delayed.
Yeah. So it's like, again, like Church said, well, these games need more time. Fine. Then understand that your own time frame when you give us the time frame because you give us a time frame, we expect that time frame. You take that time frame away, we're like, well, why'd you take that time frame away? You're the one that gave it to us. There's no takesies backsies. So that's why I'm like, again, hey, he's addressing delays because fucking someone has to. So
do you think that leads to crunch?
I think it could lead to, again, just being more open or honest of the game. Again, just the time frame it takes games to take. Like if the time frame it took to make a game years ago is no longer the time it took to phrase now, then kind of just be upfront about it. Because like I said, I like that Todd Howard said that. I like that Todd Howard said, hey, we kind of regret actually showing Elder Scrolls 6 at that conference because this is nowhere near being done. Now, guess what? I am not impatient. I'm not tweeting. I'm not like, where's Elder Scrolls 6? I'm like, cool. That's just going to be years from now. Whereas other companies like said Rockstar and all these other companies like Rockstar, Silver something, the ones that made Deep Silver, I think is they called, the ones that are making Dying Light 2, it's like, do you remember that Twitter campaign, Drill? Hey, where's Dying Light 2? And the actual Twitter account just replying with frog pictures. Every time someone tweeted, where's Dying Light 2? Frog. Where's Dying Light 2? Frog. So just be like, hey, it's taking time. I would rather be told it's taking time than have an announcement of a date and then withdraw with a delay. That's where I'm at with that.
I mean, yeah, I think we all would want the date that they give us to be the actual date, right? No question. Like, just give us a real time frame. If it's delayed, it's delayed. I just think when it comes to PlayStation, when he's seizing these deadlines, he's upset. I think he is seeing the industry as a whole. I'm thinking like, damn, bro, like Marathon's supposed to come out this year. Maybe there's some other games that we don't know is about supposed to come out this year that's not making it. Now they're coming out in what year? 2025. What else is coming out in 2025?
The game that can solve world peace, GTA 6.
Exactly. Now they're competing against GTA 6. He's like, holy fuck, guys. Like, that's what we're doing. Like, PlayStation got to beat Rockstar. Like, yeah, I think he's upset about that situation. If I had to be a conspiracy, I mean, it's a tough thing. Like, who's beating GTA 6 that year? Who?
I would love to see player count articles and player count discourse of every other game after GTA 6 drops.
Right.
Like, this game's a failure because there's no player care. Sorry, that was just referencing the that Power World dev.
No, I mean, bro, you bring a great point because Sony has invested solely in games of services, right? We've seen the article of the 10 or 12 games they have in development. They're having games they want people to play over and over again. And then the biggest game of service, GTA 6, is coming out.
Right.
Like it's a disaster. I really don't know how they will recover with that shit. Like, to be honest with you.
I think that's a great point too, and I think this is an interesting time of PlayStation, right? Because like you said, they came out from being number one when it comes to console sales and whatnot, having these great games that release like Ragnarok, and even like the even when it comes to Last of Us, part 2 and just all those releases and whatnot, but they do have a point of stagnation now. And I think when it comes to the focus of PlayStation, Jim Ryan, I mean, I'm sorry to blame this on him, but he is a contributor to this fuck shit, right? 11 live service games coming near you, you know what I mean? As
let your soul be free. You don't have to apologize for saying it's Jim Ryan's fault. Just speak for like, fuck
as GTA is about to fuck everybody like Zed from Pulp Fiction. So it's like, I can understand where Totoki's coming from when it comes to, hey, like, we need some solid deadlines on where are you on as far as like your phases of completion. Where are you guys at? You know what I mean? As far as for Marathon being pushed back, is there any form of legitimacy there, or is it a lack of uses of money, time? You know what I mean? Like, what are we really looking at here? He did say that he was happy to see that these people are excited, they're energized, and it doesn't mean that they have to be converted to crunch for the game to be released. I think crunch is a poor work culture strategy, and I don't think every single company has to go through that for a game to be released. And they don't have to be put in that particular position. But I do think, too, on the other side of the spectrum, you do have games, to your point, where they aren't really pushed that hard as far as for them being created. Last of Us is a prime example. Neil Druckmann's like, I'm thinking about the third one. You know what I mean? Like, Totoki isn't like, bitch, write a screenplay tonight. You know what I mean? Like, he's not gonna get in his face, because that's like arguably one of the biggest selling games in the past, few PlayStation generations, the Last of Us series. So he's going to treat those very cautiously when it comes to those huge titles. I don't know if we're going to get another God of War. We'll see what happens there. But these big titles, he's going to give grace to those because he knows how much money they pull in. But live service is very different. When it comes to like these type of live service games, very different. We got to see where the fuck this is going. I mean, we already heard about that conference call of saying how there's no real big additional no big like first party games or whatever coming out for the system. It's kind of alarming. It's kind of slightly alarming to me. So, like you said, 2025 is around the corner. Obviously, PlayStation on the positive side of the spectrum, people are going to buy the PS5 version of Grand Theft Auto 6, and that's going to make them money. But when it comes to what else are people playing, then yeah, that's kind of the opposite. So that's kind of the double-edged sword there. Or it's like we're making money, but we could be making more money, and making money before and after, like before and like how long after. So very interesting. Yeah, I think there's a lot of good points that everybody made here.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting that he's coming out and doing the corporate speak of everybody's working hard. I love everybody, blah blah blah, but they're missing deadlines.
He's like bullshit.
Yo, especially when you're number one in the industry. That's concerning. Like, why are you number one and then shitting on your studios? Is there something else going on?
I mean, he's thinking number one right now. You know what I mean? He's thinking far off into next year, probably. He's probably looking at, the field view as far as like, hey, we're now, but how do we stay there? And if these motherfuckers aren't holding deadlines, we ain't gonna stay number one, homie. You know what I mean? Like, I know he doesn't want to
PS5 Pro.
I was talking about that with one of a fellow podcaster, Sammy Loco. He was like, "They're releasing PS5 2.0." I said, "I hope not." I said, "Oh, the answer isn't more hardware." You know what I mean? So
it's a good move. Sammy. It's a good move, especially with GTA 6 coming out. I mean, it's not good for the consumer. But if they can market like, hey, GTA 6 played best on console, PlayStation 5 Pro, it would outsell on Xbox tremendously. It's just like, it's that extra push that you need. But that's just my thoughts.
It's a good move for next year. Absolutely. Absolutely.
That ad will never happen though.
No,
here's why. No, here's why.
Pay for that fucking ad with Call of Duty.
No.
What are you talking about,
No. It will never happen. Sony never celebrates their wins. They do in like interviews and articles, but they never celebrate their wins publicly. Never once was there a big E3 like number one selling console. What do we hear about that in interviews and podcasts and Tech Radar and fucking Forbes? It's never amongst the gaming community does Sony ever sell their wins. Like Drell, like years ago when Sony first started the trend of them backing out of E3, they backed out of E3 for that first time on the heels of killing the Xbox One. The PS5 destroyed the Xbox One at launch, and Sony didn't give a shit. Sony didn't give two shits. Their customers stepped up and outsold the Xbox. There was never like a big hoopla. It was like
they didn't show E3 that year.
They didn't even fucking show up. That's why I'm saying that ad. I'm saying that will never happen because there'll be like fucking Tech Radar.
I guess
Forbes article about
I don't
it.
see it because I don't look at it as celebrating a win as opposed to a marketing scheme of like, hey, get the PS5 Pro. With GTA 6, it's the best place to play.
Even their slogans have been like greatness awaits. Like, stand on your nuts.
Church, the ad you set for them, they'll get 9/10 of that. They'll get there, and that last part where like played best on Sony, played best on the new console. They won't add that. You may be right. Like if like the PS5 Pro drops and like by all metrics, it's the most powerful gaming console on the market. They won't say an ad. We'll hear about it again. But it won't be like the upfront market. It won't, like I said, it won't be for like a mainstream consumer to hear.
Maybe maybe Totoki will change that, right? Maybe it'll be like, yo, we need to start.
I'm hoping he changes a lot of things, man. Like here's like again, they said themselves. I forget if it was like a leak or like said a conference call or like I don't think it was an official article, but like it was like he said, like my friend of a friend said that there's really any more big first party titles coming out for the rest of the year was where that was kind of announced. So Totoki, hear me out. The console war. You can bring peace. Totoki could bring peace. And here's what I mean, dude. I'll just quickly talk about it. Helldivers. Like everyone that plays that game is like, make it cross-platform. Like everyone, like Xbox customers self. Church. You like again, you asked
it is.
It is Epic, Steam, Epic and Steam, yeah. For PC. But like you said, hey, like what's the game? Like some people stop what they're doing to pay $70 for. Again, me and Xbox guys, I will drop what I'm doing to pay $70 for that Helldivers game. It looks so fun again, and that Sony has always been stingy for that cross-platform play. Jim Ryan's gone. The bad man's gone. Totoki, you can bring peace. Just have like again, have Helldivers and other things like that. Be more cross-platform, man. Like, sorry, just like and here's the thing too. It's not just me with the comments. Like you scroll these comments, like release it for Xbox. Like I have a Sony PS5. Release let my Xbox homies play this. Just like do it, man. It's like everyone wants more people to play Helldivers. And again, if like let's say in 3 months, 4 months, let's say I don't know, where we at February. Let's say September, the player count for Helldivers drops, and all of a sudden they announce that it's coming to Xbox. Guess what? That player count at Sony's gonna come right back up because now all their Xbox friends are about to play it.
Yeah, they're already at nearing a cap. They're like over 500,000 people are on the same goddamn server right now.
That's insane, man.
Yeah,
like I said, make
holy
it cross.
shit.
Like again, and the last remnants of the console war. Bring peace. You were supposed to bring peace to our galaxy.
I agree. The more the merrier, but yeah, we'll have to see what happens. I think that is a good strategy, though. See if the player count dips. Hey, more Xbox, you know what I mean? Welcome to the family. Let's play Helldivers 2,
I mean, hey, speaking of Galaxy and cross platforms, there's another thing I want to segue. Are you guys gonna buy Battlefront on Pi Day?
I guess I'm out of the loop. What's going on Pi Day?
Pi Day, March 14th, 3.14. The original Battlefront 1 and 2 are being released online, $30 cross platform.
Yeah.
Is there any updates to it?
No, that includes a DLC. There's no aesthetic updates. It's that OG thing, 64 players online. Sorry, I can't confirm it's cross-platform, but it is being released for all systems. But the cross-platform hasn't been confirmed. If you have like a Switch, you can play with your homies over here. But it's $30 because you get both Battlefront, the original, the OG Battlefront 1 and 2.
If it's cross-platform, I would be more enticed to get it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, bro. I like those games. I would get it on Xbox if anything, because I think they support back, games longer than PlayStation does. But I think I'm happy with Battlefront 2. I mean, I know that game got a lot of flack because of the microtransactions, but they fixed it. And if you guys gone back to it, it's just a really good game. At that point, maybe I might spend the money just because I want to support it. I don't know if I'll play it anytime soon, but like. I like what you guys are doing. Do something else with another game, like there's some money. So
cross-gen is confirmed.
Okay.
Shit. Cross-gen, but not cross-platform. That's
So 5 to 4, but not 5 to Xbox. Huh?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited for it because. Again, it's only $30. You get 2 good games. The campaigns, again, we're talking about value. Those campaigns, if you haven't played those games, are great. I never had the online experience of those old school games because that was when like online like first came to the PS2. My family is what you call poor. We were white, but we were in that white trash category. So my online was like, they came in a cereal box like every 7 days. You get like Wheaties, and there was like a 7 days worth of AOL. Oh yeah, that was my online experience. But I never had that PS2 online experience for games like that. So I'm like, oh shit, it's coming out. Surprisingly, a huge fucking drop that was released at the recent Nintendo Direct.
Which was what?
That the Battlefronts are coming back.
Oh, okay, I got you.
But, one of the last things here in the show, I was curious your guys' thoughts about this. This was probably going to be not as intense as some of our other conversations, but according to Video Game Chronicle, it says here, Phil Spencer claims getting rid of physical games isn't a strategic thing for Xbox, but it will follow what customers are doing, and right now a majority are buying games digitally. So it says Microsoft's head of gaming has claimed that getting rid of physical media isn't a strategic goal for Xbox, but its support for disc-based games appears far from unwavering. Legal documents leaked. More leaks. Get it to fuck together, Xbox. Legal documents leaked last September potentially laid bare key elements of Microsoft's gaming strategy for years to come, including plans to launch an adorably all-digital Xbox Series X console codenamed Brooklyn. Shout out Brooklyn. While his plans may have changed, according to the documents, the console was targeted to for November 2024 launch and a $499 price point. Xbox boss Phil Spencer wouldn't discuss the leaked console in a recent interview with GameFile, but he told the publication that Microsoft will follow what the customers are doing. It says, in quote, "We are supportive of physical media and we don't have a need to drive that disproportionate to customer demand." He said, "We ship games physically and digitally, and we're really just following what the customers are doing. And I think our job in running Xbox is to deliver on the things that a majority of customers want. And right now, a majority of customers are buying games digitally," in quotes. Arthur, what are your thoughts about that?
I didn't plan this. Speaking of Star Wars, Battlefront 2 was the last physical game I bought. That was in 2017.
Oh wow!
I haven't bought a physical game in 6 years, so I'm neutral. I mean, shit. If games don't get physically made anymore, GameStop's about to go to business ASAP. So like I said, it's been 6 years. Over, more than one last Olympics since my last physical disc. Physical media is dying everywhere. You mentioned music, movies, Blu-ray. The Blu-ray is dying. So it's just the world of online, the world of leasing versus buying, and I don't know.
You share the same sentiment, Church?
Yeah, I think it's inevitable. I mean, I think the majority of games I buy today, especially on the Nintendo Switch, is all digital. With Xbox, I haven't bought anything physical for my Series X. With Game Pass, it doesn't make sense. I have a couple games for my PlayStation 5. Actually, no, I don't. I had Ghost of Tsushima, and that's about it. I think I've gone all digital. I share the concern about like, hey, we love these great games, right? Are we going to be able to play them in the future? Games and services just suck. Like, hey, this game existed for a moment and the servers are shut down and we can never play it again. It's going to be the fate of all live service games. Like, eventually Overwatch 2 would be there, right? It's just going to fail one day. But I don't know. I think there's like a business opportunity for a company to take single player experiences and maybe take the licensees from these major publishers of Sony, Xbox, and Nintendo and maybe release physical copies and those companies get a cut into it. I don't know how that works in the long-term plan when consoles may move away from a disk drive, right? It may be a situation where you get a physical version that's on a USB dongle and you can just import it, put it onto the system, and you can play it off of there. I think that's overall how the future would look, because all systems have USBs. But it sucks. I like game preservation in the long run, but I really don't have a solution for it at this time. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's weird that Phil Spencer was like, "Oh, it's not a strategy, but we're gonna do what the market says." Like, that's a strategy, Phil. Like, what are you talking about?
I mean, I think they're just responding, right, to the market. I don't think they're like, hey, what's a strategy to move physical to digital? It's like, hey, which is selling more and we'll support whichever.
Like, it's a strategy to lay off 1,900 people. Like, what the fuck are you dictating as a strategy? I'm just saying, bro. Like, they even announced that they're gonna lay off the physical media team. Like, yeah, these are all strategies. Like, whether we want to see it as they are or as they're not. I guess my little annoyance, and I agree with all you guys. Like, it's been a long time since I bought a fucking physical game. Like, let's just be real.
Yeah, it's a PC gamer. Come on, bro.
Dude, quick question as a PC gamer.
You start a disc.
Dude, not even a disc. Quick question for like a PC game. Do they even still come in like those boxes? Do you remember like PC games used to come in like in a VHS sized box?
I haven't seen one in a long time.
Where do you buy PC games at, bro? Like
Steam, Epic Games.
Like, that was the most. That's our most unused shelf ever. Like
That's why I laugh when the church is talking about black and white. I'm like, oh, that game in the drawer. I remember that shit.
Like
It was a good game, damn it.
It was.
I believe you.
Closing when we had to close and alphabetize our racks, we never had touched that PC rack.
Oh,
no one touched that shit.
We just face it. We just face all the ones that had cover art. We just face it.
It's like, fuck it. It's alphabetized. No one will care. No one will notice.
Yeah.
One thing too, Joe. Sorry to cut you short there, but one thing I'll say this: that I was kind of feeling the fire to a point to also decrease the value or need for physical copies was that trend we saw increasing. That's more and more becoming present. Is even single player games need to be online like that. Like, so if you have to be online anyway, like what's the whole fucking point of leaving your house, buying a disc, bringing it home, installing it, updating it? Day one patch on not working just the way you like day one patches. And then you still have to be online. If you're going to be online anyway, just fucking buy it from the online store.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the industry as a whole is just the way that companies can extract data from the players to know what missions people are playing, how many hours. It incentivizes them to always to be online, unfortunately, when you're playing a game. I don't fucking know. I think the only person that's doing this kind of right is Xbox. I think, and maybe Nintendo. I mean, let's say the same fucking game, but at least they're re-releasing the game every generation. They love the backlog, right? I don't know, man. Going forward, does Xbox care about the physical? Fuck no. I'd rather get a digital code and like a video game model. So I'm sucked for collector's editions, right? So I have like the Starfield fucking box in front of me right now. I love.
You got that watch?
Yeah, I still got the fucking watch.
The watch, bro. Yeah, that's
the watch.
Nice.
I still use the watch. So I'd rather they sell me a physical item than the physical game. Like at this point, give me a digital code. You know, make it $50 or $70. You know, don't charge me up the ass.
No, charge church. He likes to buy stuff.
I mean, bro, I support my games, unlike you guys. Like, I don't know what you're talking
about.
So
now subscribers aren't supporting games anymore.
Okay, let's ask the question.
Okay, I didn't support Stadia. Fucking sue me.
In 2024, have you guys bought any video games this year?
We're 2 months into the year.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
no. I can answer that. Well, you know what? Technically, that was 2023. That was December.
Actually,
I was gonna say Alan Wake 2.
Yeah.
I bought Alan Wake 2
trying
on
to
the
get you guys
Epic
to buy Helldivers 2, but you are like, I don't know.
I'm gonna buy it. Just give me some time. I need better Wi-Fi.
I bought a game and DLC.
Oh, what game? Go ahead.
I bought Arkham Knight and the season pass. That shit was like $8 total. Thanks, Game Pass.
There you go.
You actually bought Arkham Knight? It's free on Game Pass.
Well, yeah, but if I'm like, okay, if it ever leaves Game Pass, plus, dude, like everything for Arkham Knight was like $650.
Yeah,
so
I bought all the DLC too. I don't believe you bought the game. I believe you bought the DLC.
No, I bought the game.
You bought the goddamn game.
I bought the game too.
This man wants to see the receipt. That's crazy.
I bought both because again, like Joel was saying, hey, if this game ever comes off Game Pass, which by the way, I was thinking it might because I noticed the player count for Suicide Squad went down, the player count for Arkham Knight went up. They're like, oh, hey, well, what if we get this off Game Pass and Arkham Knight gets more of their true money back? That's what I thought was going to happen. I was like, oh shit, this game out of nowhere got more popular because people like me wanted to play a true Batman game. Blah blah blah. I'm like, fuck. I'm like $350 for the game, another $350 or $329 for all the DLC to buy everything, like $7 pre-tax. Fuck it, I don't care.
I'm just saying, if you bought that in 2015, Suicide Squad never would have happened.
Earlier,
amazing. That's an amazing joke. I'm sorry.
Sort of. I still stand by. I still stand by why I didn't buy
they're gonna turn all our shit into live service bullshit. God damn it, I need 2 jobs. I need to buy the games. So my Metal Gear Solid isn't some bullshit live service shit.
Don't worry, guys. If you think you kind of like Suicide Squad, don't worry. There's 13 seasons coming soon.
Oh, we don't even know if we're gonna get 13. I'm worried about season 1.
Dude, that game's like a fucking
Death
Netflix
Stranding,
show.
throw the baby at the person to get more coins.
Will it get picked up for season 2? You don't fucking know.
Dude, Suicide Squad is like, dude, that season 1 has to be immaculate. Like, you asked $70+ from me, and then you want to ask for more money like a month later. Like, that season 1 has to be enticing.
Wait,
Right.
the seasons aren't free?
No, they are free, but it's,
Okay.
the seasons are free.
I was
The
about to lose my
content is free,
shit. I'm
but
like, dude,
they're
Church,
gonna
you fucked
release
up buying that game.
a battle pass, right?
Oh, yeah, like the free battle pass, the $10 one.
Yeah, so I'm like, wait, hold on. I spent $70. I'm cool. I'm cool to spend $10 more. Like, it's okay. But like, it really has to be enticing for to ask more money out of my pocket.
Like
Or am I gonna play
Helldivers 2
Helldivers
level
2?
enticing.
Yeah, like, I'm gonna go play Helldivers 2. I want to play FF14. I might go back to Rebuff. I don't know. Like, there's other shit to do. It has to be enticing.
It really is.
Yeah.
I think the last part of my of this conversation, as far as like
I forgot what we were even talking about. That shit threw me off.
As far as the Xbox topic is, I feel like Xbox used to be the guys that were different, right? They used to be the guys that were like, oh, put in your fucking 360 game into your Xbox One, boom. You know, you can play your games there. Like, oh, we can do, you know, like this. When it came to preservation, when it came to not being online, when it came to owning your games and not having it be, you know, you had to be subscribed to your service or whatever. They used to be the guys that did things different, and like it made them stand out from PlayStation and from everybody else, right? But now it's like they're the same part of the same circle jerk. Like, you have to be online for everything. You gotta be subscribed to your shit to own your shit now. You know, like I don't know. I just feel I kind of miss that uniqueness with Xbox, and now we have to find what that new uniqueness is through this service. So now there is service, you know what I mean? But I just need more from them. You know, I need them to really nail on their IPs for better releases. And when it came to physical media, you know, like, you know, me and Arthur used to talk about it all the time, as far as like, it's crazy that I could put this disc in and have it still play, you know, and they're the real leaders, used to be, of game preservation, and now it's just kind of going out the window. It's like, we'll just convert this into Game Pass, and you can just pay $16 a month. Well, you know, so
but they still leading, bro. Like, they have, okay, it's preservation. Maybe it's your definition of preservation. It's physical media, I suppose, if it just being on Game Pass.
Physical media, I
got
guess.
You.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm following with you.
Because that was an actual ad of theirs. They're like, look what you could do with our system. You can't do with the fucking Sony. Here's a 360 game.
Right.
And they put in the Xbox. That was an actual. I remember that. That was an actual ad. They put it in their Xbox. They played. PS2 to PS3.
Times have changed. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, again, that's why that's, you know, like, again, that's like, hey, we're talking about Battlefront 2. Fun fact: the last, you know, physical copy of the game I bought with a gift card I got for my birthday. And again, fun fact: I still got more value from those fucking thumb grips. I can't go back, dude. Playing a controller without thumb grips, I'm like, what the fuck? What is this trash? Dude, thumbsticks are sick, dude.
I gotta try them one day. I haven't.
To try them. Like I said, I bought it. I had a gift card, and I bought Battlefront 2 on sale, because that shit was on sale like 2 weeks after it dropped. And then I had like whenever that odd amount, you know, you have a gift card. Well, what the fuck would I do with like $4.75?
Yeah.
So I got like thumbsticks as a joke. I've never gone back. I've never gone back.
Are they concave or convex?
It depends what they have, because again, in terms of because every time I bought them, I just happened to run into a retailer and be like, oh, mine's kind of cracked. This is cheap. I'll get it. The first ones I got were convex. The ones I have now are concave. Yeah. So yeah, concave deep, convex out. Yeah. I'm team convex. I like them out because the first ones I got were convex. The ones I have now are concave. They're still better than standard ones, so I've adjusted to them. But honestly, Church, try them. Like I've never gone back. I'm like, fuck, a default analog stick. What is this?
Yeah, I'm down to try it. I mean, I've been tempted. You know me, guys. I'm just like, first, like, PlayStation 4 Pro controller, the Elite controller. It's on my list. Like maybe one day. Do you guys have any of those Pro controllers from any of the systems?
I'm not
Dre, I don't know
responsible
if
enough to
PC
own.
you got like a special mouse or keyboard or some shit like that. But like Arthur, do you have the Elite controller?
I'm not responsible enough to own one. I've gone through too many controllers, my guy. Like if I've gone through controllers, like if I've gone through pets, like I've gone through controllers, I'll be on the ASPCA's like no fucking fly list. Like we can't give anything else to this guy. I've gone through too many. I've gone through too many first party accessories to trust myself with anything beyond a standard controller.
I should get a new keyboard because there's some badass fucking keyboards. I have a HyperX mouse, which I appreciate quite a bit.
Hell yeah. Church, I have a question for you. In terms of controllers, have you seen the new Turtle Beach one? The Turtle Beach version of the Xbox Elite? That one looks sick.
No, I haven't. I mean, with the Xbox Elite, that's crazy. So it's like they did collaboration or something like that? Oh.
No. It's like a really, really, really high-end Mad Catz.
So I used to get third-party controllers and they break on me all the time. Like but my first party shit fucking lasts forever somehow. Like PS5 controllers notoriously are bad with joystick drift and this breaking. Do I have my same PS5 controller for like since the release and it's still working?
And the battery's good?
The battery's fucking good, bro. I mean, no.
How do you do that?
Hold on. PS5 controller batteries are trash in general.
I was about to say.
Fresh air, just terrible. Dude, I take batteries any fucking day. Like just but it's not broken. Like it doesn't have the analog stick drifting or the button smashing. It just works to this day. I just have really good luck, so
nice.
Yeah.
Name a problem I've had it, man. I will like there are definitely ones where I dropped and I dropped it like at the right angle. Then my right bumper got fucked. I'm like, fuck, that's on me. But sometimes I'd be playing, and then now like even on my left stick, I remember this. It's actually the controller I have in my house right now, just in case someone plays with it. By the way, if you come over to my house and I give you a blue controller, your left stick's secretly fucked. You get the
at least you told us, and you did
Right.
before playing like Tekken 8, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Right.
you get the little brother controller. So my controller is like stuck in like physically the sticks are in default, but the wires and guts think I'm always slightly moving forward. So I have to like constantly press down. So really random, Joe. I remember earlier, way back when I went in a rant, I was like, I'm tired of these fucking cursor-based games. Those menus were a nightmare when your controller always wants to go up. And I'm like, no, go down. And my cursor's always like, do you want to go up here? I'm like, no.
That's amazing.
Church, I just put in chat. Yeah, it's a $200 Turtle Beach Stealth Ultra wireless controller with charge dock, 30-hour battery design. It looks
compatible
gorgeous.
with the cloud? Because that, to me, that's the biggest issue with third-party controllers. Is that
I don't know.
You can't plug them into the cloud most of the time. So, but interesting. Well, folks, as you can tell, we are at the end of the show here for the Gamers for Life podcast. Again, each and every Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, discussing all things games. Nice episode, gents. I'm glad we came to a full circle of being happy with each other again. We started out pretty hated. It's the beauty of the show, though. I'd like to thank you, Church, and to thank you, Arthur, of course, for being such great guests. Co-hosts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
To the next episode.